Hi, I'm James from Midland Bowling Supplies. Joining me is Dave Wodka.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Right, Q&A. You've asked some questions, so we're going to go through.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay. Let's start off with when designing a new ball, what comes first? Is it the core numbers or is it the core chemistry? Are you looking for high performance straight away, or are you looking for like trying to get that diff a little bit higher, lower, all that sort of stuff?
I think it depends on the target that we're looking at. I think R&D, our R&D department develops both kind of simultaneously, and then it depends on the target motion that we're looking at, what gap we're trying to fill within the arsenal, and when they pick kind of what they want, they'll pour multiples of the same ball in different colors, slightly different diffs, slightly different RGs, until we get exactly the motion we're looking at. So the testing process is quite extensive. We start working on balls well over a year ahead of time.
Yeah, okay. That was going to be my next question.
Okay,
how far in advance are we looking for bowling ball technology?
When it comes to something new that we haven't done before, like if we're trying to develop a new core or a new cover, it's well over a year.
Yeah. Okay. And obviously, does that change dependent on markets? So obviously, I know the Asian market, they get a lot more like different releases than what we get, because obviously we get the US releases and we don't get does it change dependent on like if it's more of a US ball or the Asian ball? Or
so we technically don't quote unquote develop the OEM balls for Asia. They basically decide the core they want and the cover they want.
Okay.
They're always existing cores and covers.
Okay.
They're not developing new cores or new covers. They're just taking an existing core and an existing cover and putting them together.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like for instance, if we have a ball in the US catalog ball that does really well, they'll make 2 or 3 OEMs of that same ball and basically just change the colors.
Yeah, because I do see a lot with obviously the hammers. They do change a lot with the different...
we do a lot of hammer OEMs and we do a fair amount of Brunswick OEMs.
Am I right in saying that they have smaller runs but more balls? Does that tend to be the case?
Yes, they. So on an OEM ball, they tend to make one run of it, and then they sell out, and then they bring in something different.
Yeah,
they don't generally reorder OEM balls, with a few exceptions here and there. We've had a couple hammer balls, and in particular one track ball in the last 2 years that the distributor that made those reordered them multiple times.
And obviously, do they come out of the Mexico factory?
Yes, all of our products are manufactured at the plant in Reynosa.
Okay. What's the most common mistake a league bowler makes when building a bowling ball arsenal?
Not listening to their pro shop. There's so much information on the internet. Everybody becomes quote unquote an internet genius.
Yeah.
But the pro shops like yourself are there for a reason. You guys know what you're talking about. You guys pay attention. You have conversations like this with the manufacturers and with the distributors. So for the league bowler to build an arsenal, they really should listen to the pro shop, because the pro shop can go out on the lanes with you, get your PAP, get your rev rate, get all the information that customer needs in order to put the proper arsenal in their hands for what they're bowling on.
Okay. So if in that case, what's your go-to ball? What's one that you say you must have in your bag at this current moment in time?
Oh, I would say for an all-round, all-purpose, can use on most conditions, probably the Brunswick Alert.
Alert, he's a good ball. He's a good ball.
That ball's been extremely successful in the US to the point where we haven't been able to keep up on manufacturing with it. And then if you need, if it's somebody that's either speed dominant or rev rate challenged, as we like to call it, then Zero Mercy Solid from Hammer would be the one to go to. That currently is the #1 ball in the entire world.
I mean, we've drilled a few and they've been some good scores
Yeah.
from people. I mean, we've had 300s for customers with them. It does look the daddy
Yeah.
at the moment.
It's definitely it's been the number one selling ball in the U.S. since the day it got announced.
Yeah, I mean, it's with how much it hooks. Obviously, that it's got quite a bit higher RG, hasn't it?
Yes.
So, but I mean, I don't think there's a ball out on the market that hooks as much as that at the moment.
There
It's,
isn't.
it's ridiculous.
There's nothing like it currently, and as we well know, the majority of bowling balls that get introduced have a lifespan of 60 to 90 days before something newer is
released.
And that ball's 6 months old now, and we're still selling just as many as when we started.
Yeah, I mean, they're flying out of us. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously we discussed about people go on YouTube and they look at ball reviews and stuff like that. Do you think that affects sales, or do you think there's a lot of misinformation out there?
I think both. I do think there's misinformation for maybe the people that have their own YouTube channel that maybe don't ask the manufacturers questions or don't research it enough. They just go out and do it. Sometimes there's misinformation, but I also believe there's a lot of very smart YouTube influencers that can have an effect on sales.
Yeah.
And I also believe that in my travels, since I handle our international market, so it's all of the world, the different markets, it affects each market differently. Like YouTube is very big in Korea and Japan. It's maybe not quite as big in the US and Europe.
Yeah.
But there's good and bad to it. I think if you find somebody that is unbiased, then I think there's probably some good information, and I think it can help, but it cannot replace the knowledge and information that the pro shop operator can give you.
Yeah. Okay. Has bowling ball marketing changed since the social media era has obviously come in? Obviously, I know you've been in the industry a long time. Obviously, how do Brunswick? How do they see it as do they need to do more social media now, or is it more maybe getting the pros to throw it more? What's the?
It definitely has changed. So I've been in the industry my whole life. I've actually worked as an employee in the industry for over 30 years now. And since then, marketing has changed dramatically. It used to be, we got to make sure our ball's on TV for the PBA tour, or we got to make sure we're in the magazines. And I think at this point, neither one of those has as much influence as social media. And by social media, it's YouTube, it's Instagram, it's TikTok, it's Facebook, it's all of them. So our internal social media team, which, as with every company now, we have people that are just working on social media, and that's a full-time job now. So trying to promote our brands over all the platforms, over 7 brands, over all of that it's a full-time job. And I think if you have the right non-professional, there's just as much influence there as having a professional throw it. Now I want to preface that by saying I grew up as a professional bowler. That's where I came from. So my heart is still there, and I still sympathize with professional bowling. I think we need it as a sport. Currently in the landscape of the PBA, it's just not as influential. The PBA is not as easily accessible anymore. It's not on TV as much. It just doesn't have the effect that it used to have. When I first started working for a manufacturer, or even before that, when I bowled on tour in the early and mid 90s, like if somebody threw a ball on TV on Saturday, the pro shop was selling 50 of them the next day. And that just doesn't happen anymore. Now, obviously there's way more releases. So that has an effect on it as well. You have all the internet and social media that people go. I think most people they do more research now before they buy something. They don't impulse buy like they used to. And again, they do all that research on the internet, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's correct and sometimes it's not.
Yeah, we do get that a lot. Okay, we'll go with a bit more of a fun one. So your Mount Rushmore of bowlers. Let's give you top 4 bowlers of all time. Who would you say?
Top 4 of all time.
Putting you on the spot now.
Yeah. So my number 1, in my opinion, is probably Norm Duke.
Yeah.
I think, well, he didn't have the most titles. There's 2 or 3 people that have more than him. He was the most versatile. He had all the tricks, and he did it over a extended period of time. You know, he won his last title. He won his first title when he was 18. Won his last title when he was 54.
Yeah.
So he just did it over a long period of time through different eras. He won his first title throwing a plastic ball. So plastic to react to urethane to reactive to whatever else has come out, and then even back to urethane. You know?
As it is going back there now. I mean,
well,
even the US Open are now throwing plastic.
Right. So I would put him as number 1.
Last few questions.
Yeah.
Do you think urethane's being misused outside of like the true sports conditions?
I think maybe a little bit. Like for instance, a league bowler does not need a purple hammer. They just don't. There's no reason for it. Now that being said, purple hammer clearly has a place in tournament bowlers' bags when it's allowed to be there. You know, I think the biggest issue when you talk about purple hammer, it encompasses all of urethane, but purple hammer directly. These tournament organizers or organizations or whoever's running the tournament is using these lane patterns or designing these lane patterns that force you to try to control the pocket. And in order to control the pocket, urethane is your best option. So now they want to make these patterns that force you to control the pocket and then take away your tool that controls the pocket. So, you know, I think if it flares, it's not going to alter the pattern. Like, for instance, for us, Crown 78U doesn't alter the pattern as much because it flares. It has nothing to do with urethane. It has to do with differential and track flare. You know, I mean, we discussed it a little while ago. They decided to keep this short, flat pattern at the U.S. Open and take urethane out of play. And what did everybody do? They threw plastic. So, you know, I mean, that's the other thing too. Like, no matter what rules they make, the guys that bowl on tour are so good, they're going to figure it out. You know, I mean, I saw it firsthand. I bowled on tour for 17 years. And those guys are just that good. I don't, anybody that says anything about the lane patterns are easy, that, you know what, go out there and do it and then tell me. Because those guys are so much better than people give them credit for.
I mean, I think the pros can make a house brick look good sometimes.
They absolutely can. They're going to figure it out, not only because of their talent, but because of their knowledge and understanding the lane pattern and understanding the oil and understanding the topography of the lane. And there's so much more that goes into it that those guys study it. They practice on it. They work on it. They're bowlers today, professional bowlers today, are in much better shape than they were in when I bowled. You know, they go to the gym, they work out, they eat better, they train as athletes, as opposed to 30 or 40 years ago that we really didn't. And I was part of that, you know. I didn't start doing that till later in my life.
Do you regret not doing it earlier, do you think?
I do. You know, that kind of all started after I was done bowling on tour, where guys started to train a little more. But also when I started on tour, we didn't have as much knowledge either. You know, we went out and bowled. There wasn't all this lane pattern stuff. There wasn't all, like, we just bowled. So I just, there's so many things that go into it these days that make it, in my opinion, way more difficult than it's ever been. You know, life when I bowled on tour was get up, you go bowl, you go eat lunch, you go bowl, you go. That was it. Now that now you've got to study these lane patterns. You're drilling all these different balls. It's just so much more goes into it.
Yeah. What was the first Brunswick bowling ball that you threw, or one of the Magnificent Seven? And then what's been your favourite? So.
Well, the very first Brunswick ball I threw, I'm going to go back a little bit, probably before your guys' time even, was probably the Black Rhino, which would have been 1986, 87, somewhere in there when I was a teenager. My parents owned a pro shop at the time, and so I bowled a lot and threw everything at the time. That wasn't, but I signed my first contract with Ebonite in 1993, and up until the acquisition in 2019, hadn't thrown a ball made outside of Hopkinsville since then.
Yeah.
So, my favorite over all the years, boy, that's
tricky question.
It's hard because, like I talked about Norm bowling through different eras. Yeah. I was kind of the same way because, like, I made my first TV show before reactive balls on the tour. My first TV show was with a Blue Nitro before reactive. So, man, I don't know if I had to go with maybe the ball I've struck the most with over the years, or boy, that's just a hard question because it's been so many. Probably like pre-reactive, it would probably be the Blue Nitro. I struck with that one a lot. Pre-reactive. Reactive balls, kind of a toss-up. I'd go back to the Track 505C.
Yeah,
I struck a lot with that one. The Columbia 300 Blue Eruption. I struck a lot with that one. And then currently, probably Zero Mercy Solid and Alert. Those are like the two balls that are.
They have to be in everyone's
That's
bag.
my league bag currently.
Yeah.
When I go bowl league, it's a Zero Mercy Solid, an Alert, and a spare ball. That's it. So
there are two must-haves in the bag then for you.
Yeah.
Zero. Okay.
Yeah. So that's probably be hard for me to just pick one, other than like if I had to, like, the one that's dear to my heart is the Black and Silver Matrix, because that's what I won my tour title with.
Yeah.
So that's probably, like, if I just had to go pick one ball, that would be it, because
it's so special.
That was the one it got me to the pinnacle of the sport for 1 week.
Yeah. Do you still have that ball, or have you got?
I have an undrilled one.
Undrilled one.
Yes. So I actually, I kind of went on a crusade about a year ago to acquire an undrilled of each of the 9 balls I had thrown on TV.
Okay.
So, and I do have them now.
You have all that?
Yes,
okay.
I do have all of them now, all Ebonite balls. But I have all 9 of them undrilled.
Will you ever drill them, or are you just going to keep them on box?
No. My wife and I kind of have a bowling museum in our basement, and I have a collection of undrilled balls that goes back to the 50s. So those kind of just sit in one little, they sit in the I love me section.
See, and you moan about me stashing bowling balls. I do the same. I stash bowling balls that I love, so yeah, I can totally understand it. Anyway, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for having me.
No problem.